Live from Studio A, it's the Skew Playoff Edition! Hello, and welcome to the Skew Playoff Edition! Our guests for the day are Dallas Drake, Giraffe, and of course my friend as always, you all know him, Baby. I'm your host as always, Charlton Heston. Today we will be discussing gynecology. But first, we're going to take a quick look at the quarterfinals of the NHL Playoffs.
There are two key factors that will make the difference in this series. First, let us not forget that this is Carey Price's first season in the NHL. Tim Thomas is, however, quite ancient and has experience all over the damned place. In the past, rookie goaltending has not been an issue in the playoffs for Montreal, with greats such as Kenneth Dryden and Patrick Roy both being young playoff sensations. In fact, let us not forget that Kenneth Dryden won the Conn Smythe Trophy before winning the Calder Trophy. How is that for a rookie sensation?
We have Ken Dryden on the phone! Ken, what do you think about the playoffs so far?
Go, have go.
All right! What's your take on the situation, Dallas Drake?
Well, I have to say that the Montreal
Sorry,
Canadiens...
Dallas. Better luck next time. We gotta cut to the phones. What do you got over there, Roger?
We're transferring the call over to Patrick Roy, who is on the line with us right now. Patrick!
Hello, you have reached the Patrick Roy residence. I am not home because my son and I are abusing other children. Call back another time, yes? The wife, she also gets the abused. Yes, goodbye.
So what's your take on Boston, everybody? All right! Up next, we have the Pittsburgh Penguins seated second against 7th-seeded Ottawa Senators. It is going to be a rematch from last year's 5-game series for Ottawa. In the studio today, we have Giraffe, who is currently the translator for Evgeny Malkin. What's your take?
That reminds me of a amusing anecdote, as they say.
Well, Roger just brought something to my attention that seems very interesting. We have a picture of Martin Gerber. What do you got there, Roger?
What we have here is a still image of Martin Gerber doing God knows what before the hockey game. I don't have much more than that.
Wow! Was that ever interesting, Roger? I'm glad to have you around for $600K a year. Anyways, I have a picture to show myself. Put that Gerber picture back up for a second. All right! Check this out!
On that last point, I would like to add that I, too, am a Gerber baby. And as always, I do have my predictions for this series. The first game will be 4-0 for Pittsburgh. The second game will be 5-3 for Pittsburgh. The third game will be 4-1 for Pittsburgh. And the final and fourth game will be 3-1 for Pittsburgh. I do believe, given all the information available to me, that Pittsburgh will win the series in 4 games.
Well, that was just downright eerie. We all have our own theories. I'm going with Pittsburgh. Let's cut to commercial break. Huh. Well, I guess that's what happens when you miss the postseason.
Well, I remember the first time I missed the postseason, and my buddies asked me if I wanted to go golfing.
We're going to be moving on to the third series of the Eastern Conference. We have the third-placed Washington Capitals, who finished with 94 points, facing the sixth-placed Philadelphia Flyers, who finished with 95. It's kind of an interesting twist, but let's see what you think on this, baby.
I'm sorry to interrupt there, fellas, but I do have a special guest on the phone. Would you like to take the guest on the phone? He's got something to say. Hello? Fellas? This ain't f***ing funny, you sons of bitches. Well, I need a way to get out of that f***ing studio. I'm gonna kick the motherfucking shit out of every damn one of you. Especially you, you baby. Christ.
Roger, you're still on the air.
You, Roger.
Baby, language. Can we take that call now, please?
Hello, am I on? Okay. Well, geez, guys, you're saying the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to take us out in 4? I don't see why that's, sufficient enough to say that, Malkin is just going to score more goals against us when we got Gerber in that. You've already seen Gerber. Gerber's going to be the one that takes the series. We're not going to play Emery because he's a cancer. I just want to, I don't understand why you guys think we're just going to lose in 4 straight. It's really not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair, guys. It's not fair. It's not fair, guys.
Thank you for cutting him off, Roger. That's the 4th time he's called this week, and the first time we've actually talked about the Senators. Well, let's move on to the Western Conference.
Actually, there is one more series we need to discuss from the Eastern Conference, being the New York Rangers against the New Jersey Devils. Now, I think the New Jersey...
I can't stand teams with no talent who think they can win. The Rangers will take 3 of the first 4 games in this series. Martin Brodeur will play quite poorly, as he often does in the playoffs lately.
All right!
All rise for the judge.
Judge, the special great one from Pontiac GTO. First peak shifter, 3-speeder 4. Pontiac Ram Air 366 horse. Mag-type wheels, 60-inch spoiler airfoil. The judge will rule.
Welcome back to the Skew. For those of you who are just tuning in, we've had a great outlook on predictions from Baby on the Eastern Conference quarterfinal series, and of course Giraffe has provided us some great insight from Evgeny Malkin's series with the Ottawa Senators upcoming. Roger is signaling to me that we have a special guest on the phone, a person we've had several times call in for us to give us a great insight psychologically on a lot of events. Let's now go to the phones where Siggy has been patiently waiting through the break. Siggy, go ahead.
Thank you, Charlton Heston. I liked your films from before you were dead. I would like to first point out that the Detroit Red Wings will lose this series to the Nashville Predators, and here's why. For example, wings are usually specified towards the female, and the red is mostly pointed out for sex or love. And this way, the Detroit Red Wings are not looking to win games. Instead, they are looking to fornicate with the Nashville Predators. Since the Predators are usually known as beasts, which makes them male, they seem to be more physically adequate compared to the Detroit Red Wings. So I say the Nashville Predators will win this game in 4 games. Actually, no. I think they will win it in 3. And the Red Wings will be so ashamed of the way they played, they will give up the rest of the series to the male version Predators. Yes.
Thank you, Siggy. You hear that, folks? Predators in 3. That's something to look forward to. In the second series, we have the San Jose Sharks against the Calgary Flames. So what's your take, baby?
The Sharks are going to win this series.
Why is that, baby?
Because I am frightened by this photograph.
I'm sorry to hear that, baby. What's that, Roger? We've got another caller?
We've got a special guest on the line. This guy here is a really good friend of mine. We go way back, all the way back to Nam. In fact, this guy here and I, we were in the same kindergarten class. He'd always get picked on, and I'd help him out. And then in grade 1, I'd get picked on, and he'd help me out. In grade 2, some fat kid got picked on, and nobody helped him out. Anyways, here's my good friend, Gary Bettman.
Thank you, Roger. It's a pleasure speaking on your show, Roger. You really are a good friend. I do know. I have a good idea who's going to win the Minnesota-Colorado series. The problem with sharing that information is it is confidential information. It's part of our bylaws here in the NHL, and our bylaws are confidential. I can't share that on your program. I'm not actually even allowed to tell you that the bylaws are confidential because they are confidential. But I do have a pretty good idea, and I think the Colorado franchise has a good chance to win some games, as well as the Minnesota franchise, which completely validates our theory that bringing teams all over the United States is a very good idea, even if that team is in the middle of nowhere and may even have a population of about 1,700 people, or perhaps even in the middle of the desert. I have had talks with fellow board members about moving a team to Las Vegas, actually. And we think putting a team in the middle of the desert is a very solid idea. We think it could draw fans from all over the United States, and it would be a great idea for the NHL to expand to more desert areas. We will be discussing the idea of possibly moving a team to Alaska in the near future. So keep an eye out for that, and the Stanley Cup winner will be But you didn't hear anything from me. I'm completely abiding by the confidential bylaws. And Roger, did I mention that I just got a new hobby? I've started collecting money and bills and all kinds of currency. If anyone at the show would like to get a hold of me in the future, my number is 1734 GIVEME $. That's 1734 GIVEME $. Thank you very much, Roger. It's been a pleasure speaking to you today.
I gotta say, putting a team in the desert is actually...
Thank you for the lengthy call as always, Bettman. It's a pleasure. So for our final series of the Western Conference, we have the Dallas Stars against the Anaheim Ducks. What do you think, baby?
Dallas in 6.
All right! Let's take a quick commercial break before the final thought.
Did you see the latest Nintendo newsletter?
Whoa, nice graphics. I'd like to get my hands on that game.
You mean you haven't played it yet? We can play it on my Nintendo Entertainment System.
It's The Legend of Zelda, and it's really rad. Those creatures from Ganon are pretty bad. Octoroks, Tektites, Levers, too. But with your help, our hero pulls through. Yeah, go Link. Yeah, get Zelda. Awesome. Intense.
The Nintendo Entertainment System. Your parents help you hook it up. The Legend of Zelda sold separately.
Welcome back, everybody. And now we go to the final thought. Let's see what everybody predicts as the Stanley Cup Finals. What's your call, baby?
I do have many fine theories as to who will win the Stanley Cup this year. I don't think I should reveal them to the audience, as they will be spoilers, and the audience won't be surprised when the Stanley Cup Finals rolls around and the team wins the cup again.
Well, baby, there are a lot of excessive gamblers out there. How about you give us a hint?
It won't be the Senators.
All right, thanks, baby. And on to you, Giraffe. What's your thoughts? Well, that was just downright rude. What do you think, Siggy?
The Nashville Predators will do their best to manhandle everybody sexually, so they do not want to get on the ice to play them.
Siggy, you're gonna have to cut it short again.
Not now, Chief. I'm in the freaking zone. The only team in the East that can do such a thing against the Nashville Predators is the Montreal Canadiens, because we all know that French is the language of love. Actually, voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir with the Predators? Je veux un mange-toi. The Stanley Cup will just be awarded to the Nashville Predators because the Nashville Predators are the most manly team in the finals, other than the Calgary Flames. But Flames have a whole other homosexual type of reference I do not have time to get into right now. Actually, they will just hand the cup over to the Predators, and then we will see the Montreal Canadiens go head-to-head with the Detroit Red Wings for the cup, because they are both red. And red is the color of fire and desire and sex.
Well, thank you, Siggy, for that interesting take.
Siggy, I have a question for you. Where do babies come from?
I don't think we have time for that right now, baby. You can do your own personal calls after the show. We now turn to our reporter in the field, where Marty McSorley is being interviewed.
Ow. Hello there, people. You caught me practicing. Forehand. Backhander. I'll try it again later. Anyways, I just think that I would like to predict that the Stanley Cup Finals is going to come down to the Pittsburgh Penguins, as Baby pointed out, will take it in 4 against the Senators, against the Detroit Red Wings. I hope that makes you happy, Dallas Drake. That's it for me, boys. I got to get back to practicing. Have a good night.
What's that, Roger? We've got a special guest?
Oh yeah, we've got a very special guest, a man I have no respect for, but many people across the country and the world do, think something of him. And he's here to weigh in his opinion on the Stanley Cup Finals and who will take home the cup. Who will take home the cup this season? Our special guest, the President of the United States, George W. Bush.
You know, I just don't know.
It was quite amazing that we were able to get George Bush to do a quick announcement for us. Dallas Drake, you've been awfully quiet. What do you think?
It's simply elementary if you look at the facts. I gotta go.
Well, it looks like we're out of time. That's it for the Skew Part 2 Playoff Edition. I'm your host, as always, Charlton Heston. Good night, everybody.